The ambitions. You do seriously surprise me.
Thank you, Chef. I was hoping you'd see that. I mean, I'd give it all I got. Give you 110.
You surprise me to how shit you are.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to start off right off the bat. This film is getting curb stomped online. At the time of this review, it's sitting at a solid 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is 2% lower than Morbius.
Fuck.
But does that mean the film's bad? Well, I watched it opening night, or second opening night, and no one was in there, and I can answer that question. Madam Web is a terrible movie. Like, I can't even say it's okay. It's just bad. A film that either A, no one knew about it at all, B, nobody wanted or expected it to be good, or C, nobody cared. So seeing the multiple choice options, I'm going to say it's probably a combination of all three things, but I'm willing to go with C. Nobody cared. Starting off with the writing, it was bad. Seeing how we had the same minds behind Morbius, I knew we were in store for some great high art writing. But unlike Morbius and its exceptional dialogue,
I'm just kidding. It's Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
Madam Web is just a mess with its writing. Just a lot of nonsensical elements that lead to an incoherent plot with a lot of exposition. Once the first 10 minutes of the film start and you hear the dialogue, you already know that bad times are ahead. With that said, the story is also an utter mess. The problem is that it doesn't do much to stand out and be memorable. For a comic book film, you should have the story be somewhat memorable and action-packed, like even the moments of it slowing down and letting the story flow through it. I still at least want to be interested with that. Madam Web doesn't do that at all. The action is almost non-existent, as it is bland, and the plot just seems like a series of events to go from, hey, here's the beginning of the movie, to the rising action, the climax, falling action, and the ending, and added in a runtime of almost 2 hours, which it officially clocking in at an hour and 56 minutes. It feels like a lot of nothing happening, which leads to a slower experience of a movie. Like, what a boring comic book movie. It's like I was watching Max Steel all over again. And lastly, the VFX and editing were horrendous. Like, holy hell, they were really bad. Now, I remember in my Morbius review, I said that the effects of him in his Morbius mode or vampire mode, it was like very blurry and just a lot of After Effects and everything. So take that and multiply it by 6 and you get that with Madam Web. Like, oh my god, there were some moments where it just looked horrendous. I'm going to say with the one that looks the worst was probably the opening scene with the spider people in Peru when they were jumping from trees, and oh my goodness gracious. And the editing doesn't make it better. It was a lot of choppy and jumbled together, and knowing that they had to do a lot of reshoots and editing because they had to edit out 2 damn spider people, that would have made this make sense as a Spider-Man movie, but, you know, or a Spider-Man spin-off movie, but, you know, you can't have nice things. And, you know, like I mentioned before, a lot of heavy editing during the post-production process, and it shows with its final product. I will say one thing that I'll give Madam Web credit for, which I'm surprised that I'm grasping for straws at this point, is that all the performances weren't terrible. I mean, to hear Raheem as Ezekiel Sims was, I mean, that was some riveting dialogue. I don't even blame the cast, in particular Dakota Johnson. If you saw her interview, she was just like, yeah, no, I'm like, don't ever talk to me about this movie again. This poor woman, like, fired her agency or agent who got her this role, and good God, they did the best they could with what they were working with. But besides that sort of cheery note, Madam Web's just dead on arrival. Like, I really can't say anything other positive than this film. Like, I can't. Madam Web was released on February 14, 2024 with a budget of $80 million. At the time of this review, it has grossed a grand total of $23.4 million at the box office. Holy hell. This is a box office bomb in the making. Overall, Madam Web, I can't even make a joke that it's like the film of our time with acting, a story, and a plot. Like, it's an anti-movie of our time. Like, it is, it's not, it's like, why? Like, Sony, give it a rest. Just give it to Marvel and just stick to Miles Morales. But can't wait for Venom 3. Can't wait for Kraven the Hunter. Yay. And you may be wondering, is this movie worse than Morbius? I generally don't even know. I don't know if it's worse than Morbius. That's a tough question to answer, but I'll leave that in the comment section. Did you think that this or Morbius is worse? Let me know down in the comments below. But in the meantime, I'm going to give Madam Web a final grade of an F. So let me know down in the comments below, did you see Madam Web? And God, I hope you did not see Madam Web. Like, just don't. If you did, let me know what you think about it. And until next time, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.
This is fun! Hello.